Kingdom Hearts Missing Link has leaked in a major way, for better and for worse. Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody, and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler, and today we are going to be talking about this huge Kingdom Hearts Missing Link leak that happened over the past 48 hours as of recording this video. For those who may or may not remember, Kingdom Hearts Missing Link was the latest mobile game in the franchise that was supposed to be coming out now, ideally, or a long time ago. It was a GPS game, but it was canceled last year, very notoriously canceled last year. This sent the community into a major uproar. But here we are now, the year 2026. The game has returned in a very surprising way, with its intro cinematic being leaked online in full. Now, I am not going to be showing anything from the intro here. I will post links in the description of this video if you would like to see it. The way this all started was over on 4chan. A user posted screenshots from the intro cinematic saying, hey, this is what it's from. And then eventually, the first half of the intro cinematic ended up online over on Twitter, and then later on this morning, as of recording, Monday morning the 20th, the full intro cinematic was released online. Again, I saw it over on Twitter. I will post a link down to the tweet in the description if you would like to see it, but it is also on YouTube. As of recording this video, it is still online on YouTube. I've seen at least two or three versions of it online on YouTube, so if you want to see it there, you can find it there as well. I will post a link to one of them in the description, but for the sake of my own channel and having nothing, come down on me like copyright strikes or anything like that, I will not be posting anything from it in this video. So there will not be any screenshots, there will not be any footage from the actual intro cinematic in this video. Again, if you want to see those, by all means, go check them out yourself. It is a absolutely wild intro cinematic, though. I will talk about it. I will describe it here because I do want to talk about that because, like I said at the beginning of this video, this leaking is a big deal for better and for worse, and I want to talk about the better side of things because it gives us a good idea, or at least a better idea, something more to be excited about when it came to Missing Link. So what did this intro cinematic show? Well, it starts off in a very un-Kingdom Hearts way. So the cinematic starts off where we see this really foggy, dark environment and everything, and then this blue, split opens up in the sky, in the air, and then these 7 people come basically falling out of it. They come getting lowered through this blue split that happened in the sky. Let's call it a blue portal in the sky. They come down out of it. They're being lowered down. They're in these astronaut type suits and all, and then they eventually land on the ground. They disconnect from the things that were connecting them and lowering them down and onto the ground. They're walking again. It's dark, it's foggy, they can't see anything, and then they are eventually attacked by the dark side that we have seen Sora fighting in all the Kingdom Hearts 4 footage that we have seen so far. And then this is when you realize, wait a minute, this is a Kingdom Hearts game, because before this it was very uncharacteristically Kingdom Hearts. Again, with these guys with these futuristic astronaut looking outfits, what is this game? What's going on here? So then the astronaut, these guys, they start fighting the dark side. Their suits allow them to fly into the air. They take out their keyblades, they're shooting off fire spells and everything. And the dark side ends up taking out it takes out three of the 7 people that went down into the space. Eventually they do take down the dark side, and once they do, all the darkness, all the fog is just completely cleared out, and the world that they are revealed to be in is none other than Quadratum. And very surprisingly, Quadratum here. We don't see any people though. It seems like this one space for Quadratum they're in is completely barren of any form of life at all. So perhaps it kind of gives off the impression that the entire world was like this prior to the dark side thing being there, and prior to them defeating the dark side thing, the dark side creature. Then after this, the intro cinematic rather, and then fades to black, and then it starts up with the Missing Link version of Dearly Beloved, which, sidebar, is very good. I've always enjoyed it. But then we see hallways, and we see scientists and researchers walking through halls, and then there's narration going on throughout the trailer, basically setting the stage for, okay, when, like, what time and when in time Kingdom Hearts Missing Link is taking place in relation to the prior games like Dark Road and Union Cross. And we know that, all right, it is clearly several generations. It's like the third or fourth generation of people that are in Scala ad Kylum. We are pretty far removed from Dark Road and Union Cross. So again, seeing these scientists and researchers in the hallways and everything, and then we follow one scientist guy. He ends up going to this giant mail room of sorts with an envelope that he delivers to someone there. That person passes the envelope to another person, who passes it to another person, who then goes through a door. They go through the door and then seemingly go to we see what's on the other side of the door, and then they come on out and they deliver. Instead of having the envelope, they now have like a scroll in their hand. They take that scroll, give it to one person, who gives it to another person, who then gives it to none other than Sigurd. Sigurd, yes, we actually see that it is 100% Sigurd from Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. At the very end of that game, there was a character named Sigurd who we never saw their face, but we saw their body, we saw their outfit. Here, we see the character Sigurd, their face, and the outfit as well, giving us 100% confirmation that it is Sigurd, and also giving us that confirmation that yes, the Sigurd we see here is exactly the same person that we saw in the latest Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer from the Nintendo Direct. That character that everyone thought was Sigurd was none other than Sigurd, 100% confirmation of that. And then after we see Sigurd here, he opens the parchment, but we don't see what's on the scroll. And then it cuts to Brain outside in Scala ad Kylum on the balcony looking up at the sky, and then it says Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, and that is the intro cinematic right there. It's about 4.5 minutes in length. It is not very long, but it is very enticing, very intriguing. There's a lot of mystery going on with it. Mystery number one for me that I have here has to do with the Quadratum side of things that we see in the first half of the intro cinematic. Now, again, like I said, we see these people come on down in these astronaut-looking pieces of armor, these suits, and again, they have jetpacks as well on their armor, on these suits too. And it begs the question, like, how advanced was the technology that they had in Scala ad Kylum back then? And like, what happened to what happened to all that technology that they had, like, that is seemingly not present in the Kingdom Hearts universe as we know it? Like, that seems like very high technology. Now, of course, to be fair, we've seen some high-tech stuff in the Kingdom Hearts series when it comes to Ansem the Wise, specifically in Kingdom Hearts 2. He had his whole lab and stuff. Like, there has been some high-tech stuff, but I mean, just what we're seeing here is very out of the ordinary for the series. It seems much more high-tech, much more science fiction than we're used to seeing from the games. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, man, what other technology did they have back then in Scala ad Kylum? What happened to that technology? What caused it to be lost to time and space, if it ever was lost to time and space? Like, what's going on there? I'm very intrigued by that. The other question is, what's going on with Quadratum there? Because when they go on down into Quadratum, again, it is just covered in darkness. There is nothing there. There's no one there other than the dark side to defeat the dark side. And then Quadratum is brought, there's all this light brought to Quadratum, all the darkness is gone, and no one is there. It has me wondering, okay, was Quadratum a world that had no one in it? Was it a world that had been taken over by darkness, and then once the darkness had been defeated by them defeated that dark side, did it then allow people to come back to the world of Quadratum, or just begin to inhabit Quadratum point blank period? Because as we know, Quadratum is this place, it's in a plane of unreality. And as Strelitza has described Quadratum in Kingdom Hearts 4 trailers, she's described it as a place that is beyond, somewhere beyond life and death. You could call it like the afterlife or an afterworld, so to speak. So that's what we've kind of always known of Quadratum as, or thought of it as. But what if that's not what it actually is? What if there's something more to it and there was just no one there before, but it became this sort of place? I don't know. There's so many mysteries behind it. My mind is racing at the thoughts of all of them. But there's also this other thing about Quadratum, that being that, again, we see these people, these Keyblade wielders, like manually, willingly descend into Quadratum before they free it up of all the darkness and everything. So we know that they can very clearly choose to go there. They can choose how to go there, and presumably many other worlds as well. It begs the question, okay, if Quadratum is not strictly an afterworld or an afterlife type of place, you know, does that mean that some of the people that are in Quadratum when we get to Kingdom Hearts 4 have been there for a long time because they chose to go there and just stayed there? Does time work in a different way in Quadratum? I mean, it must, because Strelitza, she's still, you know, the same age as when we saw her in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, so time clearly doesn't operate the same way there. But it does make the question, like, okay, we saw Sigurd in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer from the Nintendo Direct there in Quadratum. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's there because he died. It's possible that he could be there because he chose to enter the world and then decided to stay there for whatever purpose he might have. I don't know. There are so many questions, and I am fascinated by the answers. And then we get to the second half of the intro cinematic, when it is more so in Scala at Kylum, and we're seeing, you know, all the scientists and the researchers and the male people and everything, and then passing the envelope along and then getting a scroll and stuff. And that section to me I feel like that, I mean, it's hard to say without having actually played and participated in the closed beta test, because I did not. So there are many details story-wise and gameplay-wise that I myself am not going to know, I'm not going to have, but others will. But watching that, it made me think to myself, okay, is this meant to be representative of what would have been the gameplay or mission loop in Missing Link, where you get a mission from a researcher has a mission for you, and they take it here to this mail place or whatever, and then they pass the mission on to you, and then you do it, and then it goes from there. That was why I feel like it was meant to be representing or teasing to an extent, on top of teasing whatever story and plot revelations there were going on with Sigurd as well. But I did think that was a very fascinating section. It was just so cool just seeing, again, the world and the universe of Kingdom Hearts really be expanded in such a massive way. And after watching this intro cinematic here, I think, you know, I think we could all agree that it is a huge loss that we never got Missing Link purely for the story. I have been on record of saying that I was always interested in Kingdom Hearts Missing Link solely for the story and less for the gameplay, because I was not really all that into the GPS style of gameplay or mobile gaming for the Kingdom Hearts series. Didn't have a good track record in my opinion, but I was definitely interested in seeing where the story went. So losing Missing Link, while I did feel like, you know, I wasn't too torn up about it like many in the community were, because I was like, hey, mobile game, I wasn't really feeling it like that. You know, I was also of the belief that, hey, there's no way they would cancel this without finding some way to bring this information into Kingdom Hearts 4 in some way, shape, or form, because it's going to be important to Kingdom Hearts 4. We just didn't know how important. And now, after seeing this intro cinematic, as brief as it was, it shows that Kingdom Hearts Missing Link was going to be very important and very foundational, I feel like, to whatever story we're going to be getting at Kingdom Hearts 4. If not foundational, very instrumental, and provide a lot of important context for things and people we were going to be seeing and learning about in Kingdom Hearts 4. And to be fair, when Kingdom Hearts 4 comes around, it could be a similar thing to Union Cross, where you don't need to have played Missing Link to understand what is going on in Kingdom Hearts 4, but it will just be very helpful. It will be helpful, it will add some nice context. it's really hard to say at this point without having Kingdom Hearts 4 in our hands and knowing how the story plays out. It's impossible to say right now. But that said, again, watching this intro, I was like, man, this all looks so cool. I'm very interested in this, very intrigued by this, and I wish we were able to get this story in one way, shape, or form. So I do wonder now, okay, is Square Enix going to try and repurpose this stuff? Are they going to try and give us the story for Missing Link in a movie format similar to back cover? Will they be able to repurpose any of the game, like any of the actual game itself, into a console game to release shortly before Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out? If Kingdom Hearts 4 is, say, a 2028 release, perhaps this Missing Link Redux of sorts could be a 2027 release if they were able to make it work as a console game of sorts. I don't think that is a possibility because that would be very expensive to do, and it would probably be cheaper to just do a movie, or, you know, just not do either of those and find ways to implement the stuff directly into Kingdom Hearts 4 itself, focus all development resources on that game, which I think at the end of the day is probably the best thing to do, it's probably the best course of action. But I do wonder, will Square Enix go down one of those other two avenues? Gotta wait and see. Perhaps we'll get answers at D23 next month in August. I don't necessarily know, although I am sure someone will probably ask the question about this leak happening here and, you know, see if they can get some information out of Square Enix about it. I don't know how well it's gonna work out, but hey, it's worth a shot. And if we don't get any information there, which I feel like that event might be focused more so in terms of like new information and new reveals, focused more so on Kingdom Hearts 4, maybe giving us a new world or two. At the 25th anniversary event next year, whatever that ends up looking like, I'm sure at that point we'll probably get a much better idea in terms of what is happening with this information that was supposed to be a Missing Link, what this Square Enix is planning to do in terms of how to repurpose it and implement it going forward. So those are my thoughts on the intro cinematic. That's all the good stuff, the better side of things that comes from this intro cinematic being leaked. But I do want to briefly talk about the worst side of things that I've been seeing in the wake of this leak happening. Number one, and primarily, it is really just the community response to it. And I don't mean to be this guy. I really don't. I don't like being this guy. And I feel like I tend to be this guy whenever it comes to Kingdom Hearts news and the way the Kingdom Hearts community is acting, because honestly, I feel like a lot of times my feelings and thoughts on things are just nowhere near the same as the community's. I feel like we are living in two different worlds almost at times. I hate to feel like I have to be like the parent or talk down to or patronize or belittle anyone, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to bring people to have a level head about certain things. And in the wake of this leak, there's been a lot of backlash from the community towards influencers, content creators, insiders in the Kingdom Hearts community. Reason being is because this leak here is something that was actually leaked on much more low-key level about at least a year and a half ago or so, around early 2025. A couple different Kingdom Hearts content creators or influencers, they might have like put a post out or two saying, hey, you know, I just saw something really cool, it was so awesome, oh my gosh, it's gonna blow your mind, da 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 da. But they didn't say exactly what it was, and they wouldn't say exactly what it was. And, you know, some people were not fans of that because people wanted to know, like, what is it? What did you see? I want to know. Tell us what you saw. But they refused to say it, and some people, you know, hey, like, apologize for the way in which they said, hey, I saw a cool thing, but you guys didn't see it. You know, it's super cool. I'm sorry you didn't see it. Some people apologized. Some people just kind of like took it and went on about their business. But now, here we go, July 2026. The leak is out there now, and some of those people who saw it back then are now saying, yeah, hey, this is what I saw back then. You know, didn't talk about it, but this is what I saw back then. And people in the community are upset. They are angry, and I've seen people say that they feel like the people who saw this leak last year were gatekeeping it from the rest of the community. How could they do that? Why would they gatekeep that from us? They just wanted to farm engagement. They just wanted to, you know, feel like they were like super cool, like the cool people. They wanted to have a leg up on us and everything. And I feel like that is a terrible, horrible way to look at things and think about things. I need everybody to, again, please take the temperature down and let's think about this logically, okay? There is nothing wrong with creators saying, hey, I saw a cool thing and I can't talk about this cool thing, but I saw a cool thing, and if you all ever get to see it, you all will understand it is a very cool thing. There is nothing wrong with that. People are allowed to do that. It is well within their right to do that. We should not be mad that these people saw this trailer, saw this intro cinematic a year and a half ago, said they saw a thing, and did not publicly disclose what they saw. Because A, they would be incredibly stupid to publicize what they saw, because if they did, that would undoubtedly have Square Enix's legal teams coming down on them, and then also, again, harm their reputation with Square Enix that they currently have. And that is not something that anyone would want, let alone a content creator who focuses on a franchise that is made by Square Enix. They would not want to do that. So why would they publicly say, oh yeah, this is what I saw? Why would they leak the specifics of what they saw? Why would they leak the trailer? They're not gatekeeping information. They are simply saying, hey, I saw a cool thing and I can't talk about it. I can't tell you what it is. I can't give you the specifics, but I saw a cool thing. There's nothing wrong with that. We're putting our anger at the wrong people here entirely. And I've seen some people say, oh, how could they be playing the victim right now when this is their fault because this intro cinematic leaked and then they spread it amongst themselves and went outside a certain bubble, so like they're the ones at fault. And that logic just does not make sense at all. Again, I understand where this anger is coming from. It comes from a place of, hey, we've just been in a drought of information for years. This game was canceled unceremoniously last year, and we were just in the wake of no information. It was a desert of information. People said they saw stuff, and we wanted to know just literally anything about our favorite franchise. And we were told, hey, we can't talk about it. I understand like that is where it's coming from. I get that. But I also need people to understand that like the way in which you are talking about this stuff is coming off as like borderline entitled to feeling like, oh, I deserve this information. Because I'm a fan of yours, you should be telling me and showing me the information that you have if you feel comfortable to say that you saw a cool thing, but you can't publicly disclose what that cool thing is for very understandable and logical reasons. Like, do we understand where the disconnect is happening here? It's just, I'm not trying to come off as like, you know, the parent saying, get yourself together, guys. Like, I don't want to be like that. I'm not trying to come off like that. I just want everyone to understand, just please have a level head and bring the temperature down. It is okay that these content creators or influencers saw this information, saw this intro cinematic, showed it amongst themselves, but then did not publicly disclose it. Because again, if they put it out there into the world, it was going to come back on them. And yeah, you could say, oh, it would have come back on them if they were playing a risky game, just sharing it amongst themselves. Yeah, they were. But at the same time, you know who you can trust in your own inner circle, so to speak, and you know, hey, if I'm a content creator and this other person's a content creator, and I know their work ethic, I know that they understand what can and cannot be publicized, and I know that I can show them this, and this is not going to get out in a bad way or in any way at all, then then they would show it to them. Then there's nothing wrong with that. Just this whole outrage, to me, it just feels like the epitome of first world problems where people are really essentially, again, one, mad because they wanted to know a thing during a drought of information, which I get, but then also really, to me, it just comes off as people being upset because they weren't the ones to know, because they wish that they were the person who had the information, who knew what was going on, and was able to be, I guess, quote unquote, have the keys to that information. But they weren't. They weren't the ones with the keys to the information. Therefore, it is, everyone else's fault, and they can be upset at everyone else for having it. but not disclosing it for very logical and understandable reasons. End of the day, guys, I just please encourage you all to take a step back. Let's breathe. Let's enjoy this leak for what it is. Enjoy this intro cinematic for what it is. You know, let's theory craft about what this could have meant for the future of this game's story, what this could mean for Kingdom Hearts 4's story. Let's theorize about what could possibly happen with this going forward in terms of what Square Enix chooses to do with it, if they do repurpose it or just implement it into Kingdom Hearts 4. Let's theorize about that. Let's have that conversation instead of just raging and getting angry at content creators because they knew about a thing for a year and a half but could not talk about it because they didn't want anyone coming back on them. That's my thoughts on all this, though. End of the day, this is still a very exciting time to be a Kingdom Hearts fan. Like I said, we had the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer about a month ago at the Nintendo Direct. We have this leak right now. D23 is right around the corner with the Kingdom Hearts panel confirmed to be there. So it is a good time to be a Kingdom Hearts fan. I hope you all, just enjoy the good vibes we're in because, hey, these good times, they do not come around that often. All that said, thank you all so very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like on this video if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought of the intro cinematic if you have not seen it. If you have seen it already, if you have not, go and check it out. And also, again, let me know your thoughts just on the whole community outrage situation as well. Let me know if you think it's overblown or if you think, people are in the right for feeling how they feel. Let me know all that stuff in the comment section and hit the notification bell. That way you know as soon as new videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The Comfy Spot, and we'll talk next time. Have a good one.